See, you brought some of your friends over, guys.
We got a whole 2 people in the chat.
Yes, Glitchy Fox and Mr. Shush.
Mr. Shh.
Shush.
Is he telling us to shush just by his name, or
It's Mr. SH, Mr. Silent Hill, Mr. Or MR, Mystery Red Sandwich Helper.
Sweetheart, you're trying real hard.
I did it.
Dark turned everyone into a crab?
Yeah, on my stream. I have the avatars thing. So like anybody that's in chat, they get an avatar on screen that they can customize and stuff with the currency they earn from being in the chat and whatnot. And before I shared the live stream, the link for this, I turned everyone's avatars into crabs.
That's great. What do you use for streaming yourself for your live stream?
I use 2 different ones. Usually I use Streamlabs OBS, but there's a different one called XSplit that I like a little bit more.
Okay.
I haven't used that because for some reason my graphics card seems to have issues with that program. So, but for the most part, it's like that one runs a lot better than Streamlabs. Okay. Like it doesn't use as much of my CPU, but just for some reason, lately it's been having issues.
Up until this past year for streaming, I used Google Hangouts. It's actually even less complicated to use StreamYard as I'm doing right now because you don't have to even tell YouTube that you're doing anything. It just automatically hooks into it and starts it for you. So yeah, this is the easiest, most painless way to go about it. I'm sure I could do more if I downloaded one of the ones that you use.
Well, yes. You can do like your interface stuff. It is a bit more. It's a little more complicated, but I think it's worth it. But the main thing is you just have to make sure your computer can run it. Tell
us about your weekend live stream that you have going on. What's going on over there?
So that it's just a stream I do every weekend where plays random stories random narrations of mine, kind of on shuffle. And then there's the channel currency that everyone can get for just every 10 minutes that you spend in the stream, the bot will give your channel URL currency. So you just type in exclamation mark DC and it'll tell you how many hours you've spent on the stream and how many coins you have. And people can use that for mini games in the chat or stuff related to the avatars where they can customize the avatars. Right. Or they can use it on narrations. If they get, I think it was 20,000 or 50,000 coins, you can request a story for say I want to buy a narration of this story and then I'll narrate that story and upload it as a video. So it's just a way to be more interactive with the community.
Right. What was that you were talking about? I think you were saying that before we went live, you accidentally forgot that you're supposed to go live an hour before and everyone's sitting there waiting for you.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, well.
No, was it? Are you drinking anything over there? Or what's going on? What are you doing right now?
I wish we were drinking something right now.
Oh,
well, in terms of alcohol, no, but I have some water and some Mountain Dew Code Red.
Nice. Yeah, I bought a can of a beer called Fudgy Krueger Oatmeal Stout. It's got a cartoon picture of Freddy Krueger with a brownie.
Nice.
I love that so freaking much.
So I figured now was the right time to try it out. And it's all right. I don't know how familiar you are with different kinds of beer, but it is kind of a chocolatey oatmeal stout, just as it says.
No, beer's
gross, man.
What's happening with the, you guys have a lockdown going on over there? Or is it pretty free and open as usual? Things closed, or what's going on?
Lockdown is everywhere, dude. It's not affecting us as much, I don't think, because we live in a very tiny town.
Right.
But even my friends and family from back home in Virginia are telling me that it's pretty crazy. And they're also in a tiny town. So I can't even imagine places like Seattle and New York and stuff like that right now.
Right.
Well,
yeah. Sorry, I was just gonna say, yeah, because she mentioned New York. I think they almost, if not do, have a full lockdown going on in New York. Thanks to the mayor saying they needed it. I think the mayor or the governor, one of the two. I'm not actually looking at the story right now. But anyway, sorry to interrupt. You can go ahead.
All right, fine. I was just gonna say, since I pretty much work from home, since the whole narration thing is pretty much my job. All this stuff hasn't really affected us too much. We've heard about it more than seen it, because so far when we've needed to go places or do something, it's not like people are turning us away hey, quarantine, got to go home. Everyone's, you're not allowed to come to Burger King or something.
Right.
The only time we've experienced it was when we went to Winco at 2 a.m. and they were closed, but they're normally open. Like that's it.
Right.
But that's just because, since I work from home, don't really leave too much anyway. But I've heard about it more so like friends and family experiencing issues. Like I've had like 15 friends that have lost their jobs because of it and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and me as well. I know personally well over a dozen people back home that have lost their jobs because some of the restaurants, I know a lot of people in the food service industry in Virginia, and the restaurants that are shutting down, some of them are shutting down for good for some reason. I'm not sure. Some of the buffet places are thinking that this is going to somehow cripple the buffet industry. And so they shut down and laid off like 30 people that I know. And that really sucked. But it's just really sad to hear about right now.
Right. Kind of a similar thing around here. I'm in I'm north of Detroit metro area. But yeah, lots of the stores that are normally open 24 hours are closing at 10 o'clock. I guess a lot of restaurants are just closing instead of dealing with delivery services and stuff because the governor here decided restaurants weren't allowed to have dine-in patrons after 3 p.m. anymore, at least for now. So sorry, go ahead.
What? 3 p.m.?
Yeah. You're only allowed to eat in at restaurants in the state of Michigan until 3 p.m. now. So you can't have dinner in a restaurant right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Your only choice is pickup or delivery. So you have to use like DoorDash or whatever, to get delivery unless you pick it up yourself. The only positive I see is that there isn't that much traffic out there, which is good, but also a sign that things are bad.
Yeah. Well, these people are, I don't know. Some people think like, people are blowing it out of proportion and stuff. I think it's good to, aside from people losing their jobs, that's not good, but, having precautions, there's no harm in not going out to eat at 5 p.m. Like it's not like that's shutting down your life. And yeah, I really think it's like too big. I do think people losing their jobs is bad though. That's not good at all. But. Yeah,
that does suck. I've actually spoken to someone at one restaurant near me who I know who said, all their waitresses are jobless now. So they've actually, some of them, I mentioned DoorDash, a few of them signed up for delivery services, and I guess they started working right away. So, good for them. At least they have another way to make money for right now. But that's probably not the case for a lot of people. They're just suddenly without a job. Mm-hmm. Number one, because the governor made that decision. And I guess, number two, because there's sort of a good reason behind it. I don't personally know if the reaction level right now is appropriate. I don't know if it's too far or not enough, but it seems like, at least here where I am, it seems like the reaction is 10 times as bad as it should be. I don't know what you guys think about where you are.
Where we are, like I said, when you go outside, it's not like it's a ghost town. There are still people walking around, like riding bikes, doing stuff. Like it doesn't look like, anything's changed.
Our town is so small though. Mm-hmm. So it's not like where if you live in one of these big cities, you look outside and for the first time in your life, you're seeing that there's no one on the streets and stuff like that. I'm sure that it looks really crazy, but to us, it just doesn't seem that much different aside from, I guess, we haven't had anyone come to our door selling Girl Scout cookies or anything random. Right. That's the only day. Also, there's screaming children everywhere in our neighborhood since there's no school.
Oh, right. So it's probably not easy to sleep in, huh? You got kids screaming at 7 a.m. or whatever.
Oh. Well, I haven't had any problems. I woke up like 2 hours ago.
Oh, well, perfect.
Well, we stay up until like 8 a.m. and then...
Oh, okay. I actually wouldn't normally do that, but I've been unemployed for a while myself. So I do kind of the same thing. Although actually... Yeah, but because of the time zone difference, you're saying 8 a.m. I'm around 5 a.m. my time, so we're both ending up in bed on the same time, actually. But
basically, yeah, working from home already has screwed up our sleep schedule so bad. And
yeah, I actually have a friend who he's independent now, but he used to work for DC and Marvel. He's a comic artist, and as a matter of fact, I used to do a podcast with him, But I've witnessed, because he and I and 3 other friends of ours are kind of like a group of friends, and we'll like go on like vacations and stuff and meet up at places like Universal Studios, Halloween Horror Nights or whatever, from doing stuff like that, ending up in hotel rooms. This guy has like the weirdest sleep schedule ever. Because he doesn't have an actual, like, anytime he has to punch in or do anything, he'll like be drawing, during the day, then just go to sleep at 3 p.m, wake up 2 hours later, go out, have fun, then he'll, go to bed for a few hours, wake up at 3 a.m, do more work. It's like, wow, that must be cool to just sleep or get up whenever you feel like it without actually having a clock to go by.
I wish we could be more like that, but we feel like we almost feel kind of like we're being degenerates because we sleep until whenever and then get up whenever, where we should just be living like that because it sounds so much more fun.
Yeah. Well, the way I view it is, as long as you're not like sleeping your entire day, if you're still sleeping the same amount regardless of what time of day it is, I don't see an issue with that. Like if you're sleeping for 8 hours a day, no matter whether it's in the middle of the day or at night, you're still doing all the stuff you would normally do your work or whatever. I don't see the problem with that. But I know there are a lot of people who disagree and believe that you have to be up during daylight hours, get up at whatever 6 or 8 a.m. and you have to live that way because everybody else does. I've never subscribed to that.
I don't think people have to, but me personally, I do feel more productive when I'm able to get up at 8. Like, even though I hate waking up in the morning, I'm not a morning person at all. Like, if I'm awake at 8, then I feel like I have the entire day to get something done. But when I wake up at like 5 p.m., it feels like I have 3 hours to get something done, even though it's really not, because I could stay up. I'm going to stay up for like 12 hours and what I'm saying? Like, it's the same amount of time, but and it's not necessarily because of what other people, it's just mainly because of the sun, when it's all dark and stuff, you feel more tired. Like when it's 10 p.m., even though I've only been awake for 5 hours, I feel more tired than I would if I'd waken up at 8 and it was then 1 p.m. I wouldn't be tired at 1 p.m.
The way I actually feel sort of like that is only in terms of stuff that you have to get done with businesses that are open only during daylight, like certain hours. If there are businesses out there that are only open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and I'm waking up at 4 p.m., I suddenly feel rushed, like I'm, there's something wrong with me because I didn't do it earlier in the day. But, outside of that, I'm fine with it. It's just the, having to deal with the normal business hours of the world. That's the part that that gets in the way of being able to do that for me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hey, did either of you guys have anything that you wanted to do? You want to do a live read or anything? I thought it might be fun to do some short story readings here, since we're kind of in a way acting as an entertainment source for some people right now, since there's nothing else they're allowed to do, being on sort of a lockdown, and some people actually being on a full lockdown.
I'm fine. I can do like a story or two, but the only reason I normally don't like doing live readings is because I suck at reading and I stutter a lot when I talk. My videos are pretty like heavily edited.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, she helps me with my editing.
When he sends me stuff to edit, sometimes it looks like when you record, if you you couldn't put a marker every time you make a mistake. Yeah. Sometimes it's like hard to see the actual audio behind the markers.
Yeah, I make a lot of mistakes when I read. So, when I do live readings, it's not that fun to listen to, just because I stutter a lot. So,
well, I think most, if not everybody, does. I mean, unless you actually see like a live performance of somebody reading their own work, and it's perfect. I've only seen famous people that are able to do that, but I mean, I'm the same way. Obviously, I haven't been doing it as long as a lot of other people, but I think everybody edits when they do, when they record ahead of time and upload. But when you're doing live stuff, I think it's fine to mess it up, and it's kind of expected, and that's just kind of almost the charm of being live. It's like you're just kind of hanging out with people, and if you mess it up, you can stop and laugh about it or whatever. Even if you don't mess up, it's an opportunity to do things like, if you're reading and you think of something you want to comment on about the story, you could like stop in the middle of the story and say, hey, that this reminds me of blah blah blah, and I think this is why they did that. But yeah, it is just kind of a very loose medium for doing things, and I expect that I will screw up a lot if I attempt to read something right now as well, so I wouldn't feel bad about it.
Yeah, I don't really know if Rom wants to, but I'm fine with like reading a short story or two, trying.
Okay.
Yeah, we should like look up some absolutely terrible fan fiction of some kind of like Sonic fan fiction and all act out or something.
Hey, yeah, if you can find some, I'm all for that.
I also like doing
yeah.
I also like doing bad translations where there's this Russian website or this Russian creepypasta website that I go to where it's pretty much like, creepypasta.com or nosleep, but it's
but it's in Russian.
Yeah, it's a Russian website, and I go there and get their stories and translate them to English.
Okay. Do you know Russian, or do you use a translator online or something?
I just use like Google Translate or something. The reason I do it is because it doesn't translate it correctly, and the stories sound ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
And sometimes we also put it through Gazoogle.
Oh, what's that?
Gazoogle. Well, that's it's an app you can get that translates all the text into like gangster slang.
Perfect. I'm ready for that.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great. Wait, we'll find a story on our end over here.
No, I don't want to get the Russian FBI after us if we, recite something without getting proper permission first, of course.
Well, I feel like since it's not translated correctly, it's not necessarily the original story, like no one's going to take ownership of, hey, I wrote that jumbled mess of nonsense.
All right. They wouldn't want to admit it. Hey, do you guys ever watch anything on Netflix?
We actually just finished watching some Violet Evergarden last night, so we use it for anime sometimes.
Okay. So I was just going to ask if you ever listen or watch Netflix, anything on Netflix with that's in English but has the English subtitles on at the same time. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, it's especially horrendous with anime.
Yeah. I was watching some movie that somebody recommended today, kind of off to the side while I was doing other stuff, but I noticed you could tell it was obviously not originally in English. So they did subtitles over it, and the writing for the subtitles sounded, or not subtitles, but the voiceovers, the writing for that, the words they used for that sounded good. But then I was watching the subtitles at the bottom. Not only did they not match up at all to what was being said, but it sounded like it was written by somebody who didn't even know English, like words that didn't even work together. So it makes me wonder how these things make it past Netflix, or if they even check that first. If they just say, oh, it has both of those things, we're not going to actually check them, but as long as they're there, that's okay.
I mean, have you seen some of the crap they put on Netflix? Like, I'm not surprised. Like, oh God, what was that one movie about the really tall girl, but she was only like 6'1", but they were trying to make her look like a giant freak? I think it was just called Tall Girl. Yeah. It was like one of the most horrible movies I've ever seen.
That movie was weird because like I'm 6 feet or 6 foot, like 6'1" in between there, and that if that person's just as tall as me, I mean,
they're not freakishly tall. Maybe pretty tall for a girl, but
unless everyone else is a midget, I don't know why everyone's like horrified, like oh Godzilla.
like every shot they did, they made it look up at her and make her look like she was 8 feet tall. Turns out she's 6'1". Like. You should have just made her 8 feet tall or something crazy and then made the movie, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think I saw the advertisement for that. I didn't bother watching it, but I've personally known girls up to 6'3", and yeah, it's tall for a girl, but it doesn't look like a giant. It's a slightly taller than normal person.
Yeah, they need to chill out, trying to be all heightest.
Yeah, I'm offended by that. I'm actually 6'2" myself, so that's very offensive. I'm going to write a letter to my congressman about that.
Right. Oh, it would really make my day if you wrote a letter to your congressman telling them how offended you are by people in media not portraying tall people correctly.
Then put it through Gazoogle before you send it.
What's that?
But then put it through Gazoogle before you send it.
Oh yeah. Or go and give a presentation about it in your local town hall meeting and complain to the city. Did you ever see that? Yeah. That I forget her name, the girl who was complaining to her town hall in California that the local McDonald's didn't have the McRib sandwich.
I didn't see that, but if you do that, what you should do is do it at 4 a.m. and make it so that all the seats are full of scarecrows, and then film it.
Nice.
And it'll be very confusing.
Why do you have such cursed thoughts?
It'd be funny.
Your ideas are always really all right.
And then slowly pan back. No, then slowly pan back to the crowd every now and again to reveal that they're scarecrows. And then on the last pan, it comes back to you, and you're a giant crow. And then it plays the Twilight Zone theme song. And then
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, the nonsense that you're hearing right now, I live with it. And every night, if we're watching a show or something, he will pause it and go, now listen to this, and say some kind of random stuff like that. And I'm just, I would be desensitized, but it gets more ridiculous. It just like, what kind of person thinks of that idea out of him saying this woman wanted the McRib sandwich or something, and then you start thinking about scarecrows?
No, see, she's not thinking of an example, but I'll give an example.
Okay,
like last night when we were watching that Violet Evergarden, there's that one part where like the character is like,
oh my god,
reciting this thing, like the person that gave her a name, like named her after the flower, the violet or whatever. Yeah. And then she's like, become someone worthy of your name. And then like I was like, what if she turns into a giant flower right now, or just turns purple or something? That'd be pretty good. But then she didn't, and it continued to not be funny.
All right. So listen, this scene was extremely serious, and okay, Ronnie.
What I do? What? I'm just sitting here.
What happened?
He is just a degenerate.
I'm confused. What did I do? I'm just sitting here.
You know, you just sitting there and thinking those random thoughts in the middle of it. Like, I was almost crying because this scene was like really serious, and like anime hits me right in my feels. And he was like, "What if she turned purple right now?"
Yeah, it was. It would have been funny. I mean, it would have been funny. You know,
you're sitting there expecting to have a perfectly serious crying session, and he interrupts it with comedy and ruins everything.
If I was making a show like that where it's like completely serious, I would take that opportunity to randomly, like in the middle of all the seriousness, just like do something really weird and random. No one would expect it, and then like not mention it, and then just continue with the show. Like if she turned into a giant flower, and then no one mentioned it or anything, and then the show continued as normal. That'd be pretty great.
Yeah. Well, hey, a lot of serious stories, they do purposely put like a comic foil, like some sort of comedy every so often, so that people don't just get totally depressed over it. So I think that would qualify.
Like turning into a giant flower.
Yeah.
You know what, Ronnie? I really want that for you. And one day I want you to be able to make yourself a show where you can have whatever stupid stuff to happen that you want, but you let me sit and cry at my anime without saying that stupid crap to me all the time. I know you say fine, but okay, so to be fair, last night when that happened, he didn't say it as it was happening. He started giggling and trying not to laugh. And then after the scene, I was like, what the hell were you laughing at? And then he told me. So to his credit, he didn't shove it in my face, but it's very hard to sit there and he's just giggling and I'm like, what are you laughing at?
You're like, what's this psychopath doing next to me?
I'm like over here crying because sad stuff's happening and Ronnie's holding back laughing. What do you have to say for yourself?
Yes.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're on trial for this, Ronnie. What do you have to say for it?
We look out into the crowd and it's nothing but scarecrows.
Yes.
The jury, the judge, they're all scarecrows.
And they're all like, yeah, we like what he did. What's your problem?
That's about it.
I think Ronnie stacked the jury in that case, but I'm not sure.
We should get that story going, Ronnie. Okay.
Yeah. You guys have one yet? Or are you kind of looking around or thinking about it?
Let's see.
Honestly, with the way that they end up translating, any of them are good. Yeah.
This one's not too long.
Let's do that one.
It's called Strings of Death.
Let's, you want to Google that?
No, let's just read it in the Russian. It's already going to be gibberish enough.
Oh, but Google makes it so fun.
I'm trying to see if there's any. I guess it's just there's no other characters, so it's just a one-person story.
Oh, it's all right. You got this, friend. You got this, friend.
Okay. All right. Strings of Death. Alexander woke up on Monday morning at 7 o'clock. Today, back to school, Alexander studies in the 8th grade. Masters the art of playing the guitar, loves metal, has problems with socialization. He has white hair to his shoulders, brown eyes, a straight, sharp nose, always a gloomy expression on his face. This day has not been set from the very beginning. When he came to school at the very first break, there was a conflict with his classmates. They, as usual, got to the bottom of his hair, and after he answered them in a somewhat rude form, surrounded him and started to beat. But they were stopped by the teacher. During the lesson, they said that after the school he would end. He acted cunningly, and in the last session, he allegedly became ill. But that evening, he went to a music school. Classes went well and without conflict. Then Alexander went home. An unpleasant surprise awaited him on his way home. His classmates were waiting for him in the dark gateway. in which Alexander, yeah. No, yeah, there's no C. Alexander had to go. They surrounded him like jackals and began to beat. They no longer controlled their power. Alexander, from the hopelessness, began to try to beat off the guitar, but these animals
What
took
did
her
he do to
away.
the guitar?
He beat off the guitar.
Yeah, that's what it says. Like,
That's sexy. That's all right.
all right. Then they threw him to the ground and started kicking him. Alexander stopped resisting, for it turned out later that he had broken several bones to him. They laughed when they beat him. The girls filmed everything on the phone, but they got scared when they realized Alexander was not easy to resist.
Oh, he's so sexy. That's right.
They dragged him to the nearest abandonment, realizing if he tells someone that they beat, they will be the end. Then they decided to get rid of him. They took the strings of his guitars and strangled him. They left his body disfigured and mutilated in an abandoned, and his guitar was burned. Alexander's body was soon found. In hot pursuit, they determined who did it. But the father of one of the killers was quite a high-ranking police officer and helped these creatures to avoid serious consequences. And then something else began to administer justice. What?
Is his guitar gonna kill them?
Better. The story is called Strings of Death. Alexander's body died, but his soul remained. Alexander became a ghost, and he embarked on a path of revenge. The next day, the body of one of the attackers was found in the gateway. He clearly died by force, was strangled. Then 5 similar cases occurred. All of the dead were strangled, and all participated in the beating and murder of Alexander. After these cases, the rest were frightened and, as if driven by a rat, tried to escape by any means. Someone fled to the monastery. Someone sat in his apartment and did not go out under any circumstances, but it did not help anyone. All died under the same circumstances. There is only one person left, just the man who strangled Alexander. He tried to sit in the apartment like a rat in his hole. What's with rats?
What's with beating things?
It's like the second time it's referenced to rats. Hold on, I lost my place. Oh, He armed himself with holy water, a chalk circle, a prayer book, a cross, a lantern, a knife, and a gun. For his father worked as a militia to get weapons was not difficult. Also, his father was going to help him. Also, his father was going to help him in defense. At 12 nights, electricity was cut off in their porch. It came. They were already scared, but they turned on the lights and lit the room. They already sat in the chalk circle and read prayers. But then he, in caps, appeared. The spirit of Alexander who wanted revenge. They were scared, but they continued to read prayers, doused with holy water. But when the ghost crossed the chalk circle, they fell into a frantic horror. They poured holy water into him, but this did not help, and he continued to slowly approach them. They fired a full clip into it, but that didn't help either. Then they simply began to beg for mercy, but the ghost of Alexander was implacable. Yeah. He wanted revenge, and he took revenge. The bodies of the 2 were found in the apartment the next day, but the spirit of Alexander remained. And what will he do the next eternity? Of course, revenge. He will take revenge on all those who persecuted the innocent. So before you poison a person, think, but they won't find you strangled.
Wait, is that the end?
Yeah. So
that's
so specific. Before you poison a person,
but they won't find you strangled.
Yes. That was it. I'm sure that story made more sense when it was written in Russian and if it was to be read in Russian.
I don't feel like it did.
I'm pretty sure it did.
I don't feel like it would.
Well, let me find another shorter one.
All right, listen, my turn. You find a shorter one. You translate it, you Google that thing.
Yeah. Let's find a Russian so we can find out if that actually makes any sense in the native language.
Yeah, right. It's still just gibberish.
Speak Russian here. We've got a couple people in the chat.
There were 2 comments on this story. I want to see what these comments said.
Oh man, let's see
if I can translate it. I might have to copy and go to translate. Okay, so this is for the murder strings or whatever. Night Scream, 15 days ago. Listen, no one, your story is beautiful. All right. Then, Semenich said, the garbage is stamped. And those were the 2 comments. Very insightful.
All right. They really helped us out a lot.
Man, you should take one of your stories, because you write a lot, right?
Who, me or?
We should take one of your stories and
neither of us write, but you write, right? You should take one of your stories and gazoogle it and see how it turns out.
Okay, let's see. Let me find gazoogle. You can do something in the meantime so that we're not just dead air while I'm trying to.
All right, Ronnie.
I'll look at your stories real quick and see if there's a short one I can translate.
No, wait. Go over here first and set me up with one of these stories up in that gazoogle so I can entertain the 14 people watching.
Okay.
Before you do that, I have a question. I'm on Gazoogle. Is there a place where I can just dump the text in, or?
Yeah, they should just have a translator on their site. The only downside about that is the Gazoogle has some options built in that I think are stupid. Like that you can turn off when you download the Chrome extension. Like it'll change a lot of the words to like this whole thing where it does like A to the I to the F to the E to the like for like 20 minutes. It's stupid, and like you can turn that off, and then so like I don't know if you can do that on the website, but if you go to website Transizzle, no, that translates the entire. It's textilizer.
Textilizzle.
Up on the top. If you're on the Gazoogle website.
Oh, okay. I was actually scrolled down a little bit, so I didn't even see that part. I was gonna pick the shorter one that I actually just uploaded a narration for, but I don't have that on this other computer I'm on. I don't have the text posted anywhere yet, just the narration. So I think what I'll do is I'll post one of the longer ones that I have access to right now, and we'll just read part of it, not the whole thing. But go ahead with what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, she's gonna read this one.
Did you Gazoogle it?
Oh no.
What do you think this even is? Come on now.
All right, one sec. I'm gonna have to reinstall the.
I'm gonna get nice and close and sensual with the mic too.
Okay, one sec.
Good idea.
For some reason, every other time I try to use Gazoogle, it just doesn't work. So then I have to remove it from Chrome and re-add it. And
he's doing his best. We got it. Ronnie's coming to the rescue.
Ronnie to the rescue. Sounds like he'd be a guy who like helps out consumers on your local news broadcast.
He has a good news voice.
I think I have a better.
No, I like when you pretend to be an anchorman.
Oh yeah.
This just in. You got that voice, dude.
Oh yeah, de-zombified is live too. Izzles.
What? Izzles?
Hey,
there's a translation percentage.
Something just dawned on me when you were talking about his voice. I apologize for saying this, but has anyone ever said you sound like Justin Long?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's that?
He's the guy from the Jeepers Creepers movie.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
Jeepers Creepers.
Together.
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah. Remember, he's the main character.
He's also in if you've ever seen the movie Waiting, it's about waiters and waitresses at like a fake Fridays type establishment.
That's like the 20th time I've people told me I sound like him, which is weird because I don't think I sound like him. This is him.
Oh, I don't think you sound like that guy either.
If you put it side by side, it's probably different. It's just some sort of quality that's similar. That if you want it to be there, it is.
I can understand that. Like people say I also sound like Mr. Creepypasta, but if you were to take our voices side by side, I don't think you would like think they sound the same. But people who like maybe haven't heard Mr. Creepypasta in like a week or something,
right?
They could think of our voices and think we sound the same,
right? I think the funniest one I think I got recently, it was actually somebody, they're trying to insult me. Actually, they listened to I actually put up on my regular YouTube page, I put up a cover I did of Girls Just Want to Have Fun, the song, as like a punk rock version of it. And somebody was trying to insult me and they said I sounded like Trey Parker from South Park. You know how they do the parody songs? So like, hey, I'll take it. He's famous. Why not?
Oh, man. All right. Did you do it?
Yeah, that's Gazoogled. I don't know if
after the story is Gazoogled, it's called Proxy Diaries, Izzy.
I don't even know what the original name of it was.
I don't know. Probably not that. All right, I'm going to read this story real quick. Proxy Diary, Zizzy. Diary of a Zalgo Proxy, Record 1. My name be Strizzle, and this is my diary as a proxy demon named Zalgo. About 5 Disneys have passed since the time I became a murderer. And exactly so mizzle more his a Pazzies the cognition of his name, he's alcohol.
Yeah, see, sometimes it's just gibberish.
What?
It does all the izzies.
This
so
isn't
much.
even funny. This is just gibberish. I didn't even nizzo that I would start capping people, but I Lizzie it.
That's beautiful.
Wait, I don't think we can even understand this. About for Mize, H to the Ize, Pizze,
Yeah, see, I
since
told
the
you.
mom mizzle,
Like, since it's already translated from Russian.
I became the prizzle? Wait, what?
First, translate from Russian, and then translate through Gazoogle. Let's see if we can translate it anymore. I don't know of anywhere else to do it.
He bezit terrible? A yazir pazid?
Yeah, right?
It's trying to say a year passed?
A year possessed.
Oh, you're possessed, you're right. A yazir possessed. I became one of the most important among Rizit in my master. His dad already adapted to fizzle Lizife of a proxy and had already iced many thugs. Zizzy Sizzy up a saggin to fizzy.
Oh, wait, hold on, wait. Actually, oh, right, the Izzles. I completely forgot to turn
You
those
turned
off.
the Izzles all the way up.
No, I didn't. I forgot to turn them off, and they're already on like 50% by default.
Oh.
Yeah, see?
You actually have an Izzle fader.
Yeah.
The Izzle fader was up so high. Well, I mean, the story doesn't make much more difference now. Like, it doesn't make much more sense now.
I think it would make more sense than the Izzle, Swizzle, Nizzle, Flizzle, Bizzle. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Good.
that was as good as it's gonna get. That was a diary of Zizzy.
I see
Killed many gangsters.
somebody commented about the Krizab in the comments there.
Yeah, that's my dad.
Nice. Okay, let's see. I'll read a little bit of I put one of mine in, and it was originally called Do Not Go to the Valentine's Day Festival. The new title, after going through Gazoogle, is Do Not Go to the Valentine's Dizzle Gangbang. Okay, so let me read a little bit of it. Asking a hoe up for the last time on Valentine's Dizzle can sometimes be a gamble. Right back up in your motherfucking ass. Should I ask her to go up sometime before Valentine's Dizzle first, biatch? Is asking one of my thugs up for gangbanging first date on Valentine's Dizzle too presumptuous, biatch? Should Valentine's Dizzle be reserved for couples whose ass have already reached a cold ass lil certain point up in their relation sizzle? Biatch. It just seems to be repetitive here, using the same words over and over. And if V Dizzle is reserved for pre-existing relation shizzles, would she reject my Valentine's Dizzle invitation despite her willingness to say yeah on any other day, biatch? Also, will that permanently seal me up under the category of playa? Okay, I think that's just the first paragraph. I think I'm done reading that for now. If anyone else wants to take over with something else.
Oh my god.
Yeah, see, the Gazoogles can be funny, but sometimes they're just gibberish, which is why I do doing the bad translations, which sometimes it is also straight gibberish. Like I'm taking one of your stories right now, just the first part. It's the Do Not Bury Me for 3 days one.
Okay.
I'm gonna take like the first little part, and I'm gonna put it into a translator that's gonna translate it from English. Oh no, I actually clicked the wrong thing. 1 sec. Okay, so it's gonna translate it from English to Hebrew, right? Then from Hebrew to let's see here, Scottish Gaelic.
Okay.
Then from Scottish Gaelic to Elvish.
Like from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, then from Elvish
nice.
back to English.
All right, let's see.
And it might actually have, not translated horribly. So I'll compare the first sentence of the translation. The original is, last summer I got a job working at the National Archive. And in the translate, after going from Hebrew to Elvish to Scottish Gaelic or whatever, it is, in the summer I got to work in the National Archives. So, not complete gibberish, still more or less the same. But
right.
Yeah, so I'll read this first little part for you guys, and we'll see how it turned out. I don't know. Well, it might go horribly wrong later on. We'll see.
All right.
In the summer, I got to work in the National Archives. My lob was to be and legacy of documents from the paper archives in NOS records will taste down less a space, and it is in hope, or burn out as far as according to. Yeah, I think some of this Actually, hold on. Okay, yeah, some of this stuff, I think that there probably weren't words for it.
So they just didn't translate it?
Yeah, like, I think that some of those are, I don't really know what taste is supposed to mean. Hold on. We're going back. We're doing this. Okay, English, and then Croatian. We'll just translate it twice this time.
Oh, God.
No, wait. Azerbaijan.
Wait. What?
I don't know what language that is. Wait, I gotta go back to English. Oh my goodness. Hold on. I messed it up.
What did you do?
I don't know. I think it's okay. There we go.
Did you break the translator?
I think I did. I believe I did.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. All right. This I think this translated more of the words into actual words, but we'll see. And last summer, the National Archives. I hope that my work will not be disrupted in our printed document over time. As you know, security clearance is a lot of documents that I can't hide. Access to water. One of the documents that changed my content is Dr. Ulam Taunton, doctors, architects, artists, and inventors who lived from the 1700s to the 1830s. This is not the only the best training in medical schools in Europe, but also the entire Qatar project and many other countries, the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., the library for Philadelphia. Most of his friends are free when the file falls in, but I'm actually worth one of their common ones. I can't give the meaning at first because this isn't the first set of secret documents I've received a modification of. I only started saying that he came to me scared. Given the security level, I just can't get the source file, so I had to take a picture with the ball, which can be done via telephone. Even this will not be a risk because we can allow the use of these phones due to the reasons of the American employees of the archive. At this moment, I tried to sing. That is, I tried to write myself some photos that I took a little rinse, that I took my time to save this entire, the secret document in very photos. So I wouldn't want the default parameters to be accurate as blurry to look at. The house after the problem with me throw me through telephone in my secret syllable. These things had me threatened with jail and possibly even dissatisfied with the state. Start with the doctor here. So aside from all that gibberish, I'm just going to give you the basic rundown of what I think that was saying, and we'll see if it's right, because, since it's your story. Okay. It sounds like what's happening is this guy, works for the government or something, and he came across some secret documents that were dirty or something, and he needed to rinse them, so he took pictures of them, and that's it. That's all I got out of that. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the exact original story. How perfect. What a great translation. No.
Thank you.
Actually, if you want to know, the real explanation there is someone working at the National Archive was digitizing documents from old, hard copy paper so that they could store them on hard drives. And one of the classified files he came across from this doctor who was friends with George Washington revealed a story that tells a lot more about his death than what we were told. And he's going to read you the transcript that was written by the doctor to explain what happened.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's not what that translation got across.
Right.
I was trying to find funny fan fictions to read, and I am really upset to say that I stumbled onto some really raunchy Barack Obama fan fiction, and I need to wash my eyeballs out with bleach now.
Oh boy. I can imagine.
I was trying really hard to find one that wasn't just like really disgusting, because they're really funny, but they're also super gross, and I feel some sort of way right now.
Okay. I'll tell you what,
my poor eyes.
Well, if you want to take a minute to absolve yourself of that, I think I spoke to someone the other day who was not familiar at all with Edgar Allan Poe, which shocked me. So I was just looking up Poe stories right now, and I ran one of the more popular ones through Gazoogle, and maybe I should read a bit of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do it.
Okay, this is The Telltale Heart, as written.
Oh, yes.
as published in 1843. So obviously this language will be perfectly, to the time period, obviously. All right, here we go. The Telltale Heart. True, straight up trippin'. Hella straight up, dreadfully straight up trippin' I had been and am. But why will you say did I be mad, biatch? The disease had sharpened my senses, not fucked with, not dulled them wild ass motherfuckers for reals. Above all, the sense of hearing acute. I heard all things up in the heaven and up in the earth. I heard enough things up in hell, yo. How then is I mad, biatch? Hearken and observe how the fuck healthily, how the fuck calmly I can wrap the whole story. I'll do one more paragraph. It beautiful. Is possible. What's that?
I said beautiful.
Yeah, I'll just go one more paragraph so I don't hurt myself. It'd be impossible to say how the fuck first the scam entered my dome, but once conceived, it hustled my crazy ass dizzling night. Object there was none. Boner there was none. I love the old school, man. I ain't talking about chicken and gravy, bitch, yo. Dude had never wronged my dirty ass, yo. Dude had never given me insult. For his wild little freakadelic gold, I had no desire. I'd be thinking that shiznit was his wild little fucking eye, biatch. For show, that shiznit was this motherfucker. Dude had the eye of a vulture, a pale blue eye, with a gangbanging film over that shit. Whenever it fell the fuck upon me, my blood ran cold. And so by degrees, straight up gradually, I made up my mind to take the game of the old school dude and thus rid my dirty ass of the eye all motherfucking day. That's the end of that paragraph.
Yes.
Oh, motherfucking day.
Yeah, sounds pretty true to the original though.
Oh man, doing my boy Pode. Oh man.
So I translated your story into emojis because you can apparently translate into emojis, and it changed the title of your story from "Do Not Bury Me for 3 Days" to "Complete Cruising Summer Cruising."
What?
I think it's good. It's a good name. You should replace the name with that.
I agree. I'm changing it up right now.
Yo, I like that.
Let's see. Fancy. Wait, no. English to Ned Flanders.
Oh, please. Oh, my goodness, please.
See how this
Here we go. Flanders live read.
Oh, here we go.
Last summer, I got a jobberino working at the Noodly National Archive. My jobberino was to diddly ding dong digitize legacy diddly ding dong documents from the Paperoo archives that are riddly recorinodes. All right, that's enough of that. That got old pretty fast.
Pretty much one angle going on there.
Let's see here.
Diddly Renos. Right. What else do they have?
Old English translator, Shakespearean translator.
Do the Shakespearean one.
Okay, English to Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Hold on, but I'm gonna do something more known. Nothing against your writing. I'm gonna do the Raven.
Well, that.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean it's gonna like be almost unrecognizable, I think, but.
All right, the Raven to old Shakespearean.
It's like literally the same, dude. You gotta shoot.
Well, I think it's just translated the way the letters look.
Oh, it says the same thing, but instead
jerk.
it just.
No, that doesn't work with the audio only format.
Okay, no, so it does change it. I think the Raven is just old enough to be.
Yeah, like
I typed hello jerk. I typed hello jerk and it translated to holla jackanapes. Apparently that's how you say that. Say that in Old English.
Nice. I just saw someone use the word jackanape today, so I approve.
Nice.
That's pretty great.
All right, what's newer?
What's something newer you can put in there?
Yeah.
You should put in the horrible fanfiction My Immortal in there.
No, I don't want to read that crap again. Let's see.
Oh yeah, you never finished it though.
Oh yeah, I read enough.
Yeah.
I read like half an hour of it on a video. That was enough. Let's see here. I'll do the script to the B movie.
Oh, that thought came across my head, but I decided not to say it. But not you. Not you.
All right, I'm just gonna do like the first few lines though.
The script to the B movie. Any background? I don't know what that is.
The B movie?
BEE. Okay. I thought
there
was an actual movie called The B, just the letter B movie.
Oh, no. It's
Actually, never mind. That's pretty much just the same thing, except it replaces some words with if at the end, like flyeth. So never mind to that.
Okay.
Trying to do my boy dirty like that, my Shakespeare boy.
No, that's how I'm done with the translating.
Okay. I think we got everything we can out of this translation stuff here.
Yeah.
Anybody feel like reading anything not translated?
I found a couple of old books of drawings and thing I had from when I was in like middle school that had like some disgustingly horrible poetry in it, but I don't know where it is. Otherwise, I'd go grab that.
I think I might be good on the reading. My mouth's all dry now. I need soda.
I don't think that's going to help, friend.
We'll see about that. There's water in there somewhere.
Trying to find stuff that's short enough to not take up a ton of time.
Yeah, I remember. Ooh, there's a creepypasta translator. Don't even know what that means.
Yeah, what is that?
I remember when I used to do like live readings, the problem I always had was finding stuff that was short enough, to read, because like all stories, like unless I want to take 10 or 15 minutes reading a story, I remember that being a hassle.
Right.
Put something up in that creepypasta translator. Let's see what it says. It literally didn't even change.
I mean, this is a poem, I guess.
State of the Union address. Yeah. Let's put some of that in there. Did it change it?
I don't know.
Yo, it didn't even change it. That's just dumb. The creepypasta translator don't even work.
I thought for sure it was going to add something about razor sharp teeth and a smile too wide to be a real smile or something.
Right.
Black eyes and viscera everywhere.
Yeah. And somewhere it should say, I can't even really describe it.
Yeah. Basically.
That's a popular one.
Let's see.
Tell you what, I'll see if I can read something quickly that is not translated. That's just downright depressing. Yes,
I'm ready.
depressing. It's a poem from Poe called Alone. And apparently, I didn't know this before, but in the notes at the bottom of the page, it says this poem was written by Poe inside of an autograph album of Lucy Holmes, which I guess would have been a friend of his or something. It said it was never printed during his lifetime. And for a long time, they weren't even sure if it was really his. But now I guess they have finally found proof that it is. So it actually didn't even have a title when he wrote it in there, but they used the word alone as the title. So looks pretty short. So here it is. From childhood's hour, I have not been. As others were, I have not seen. As others saw, I could not bring. My passions from a common spring. From the same source I have not taken. My sorrow I could not awaken. My heart to joy at the same tone. And all I loved alone. Then, in my childhood, in the dawn of a most stormy life was drawn. From every depth of good and ill, the mystery which binds me still. From the torrent or the fountain, from the red cliff of the mountain, from the sun that round me rolled in its autumn tint of gold, from the lightning in the sky as it passed me flying by, from the thunder and the storm and the cloud that took the form when the rest of heaven was blue of a demon in my view.
That's a pretty poem.
That man had such a sad life.
Yeah.
He just seems like such a miserable I've done a couple of his stories on my channel, and just such a miserable existence he had.
Yeah, unfortunately. Maybe I'm wrong. Didn't he have two wives die?
I think so.
Yeah. And the biggest mystery of all, he mysteriously died himself at the age of 40. Nobody to this day knows why. He was in the middle of traveling. He had gone to Virginia to propose marriage to a woman that he had known since he was a teenager, and apparently she had accepted. So his plan was then he was taking a boat back to somewhere in New York where he was signing a deal to print a literary magazine that he had created. He never reached New York. For some reason, the ship stopped in Baltimore, and he got off the boat and never got back on. Then he was found laying delirious in the street like 4 days later. He was taken to the hospital, and he never fully recovered. He was delirious, and he died like 4 days after that. Nobody knows why. So
and someone in chat says, they now think it was rabies. Our friend Digital Crow coming in clutch with some information.
Well, actually, that was what someone thought a few years ago, but it's also supposedly been disproven. But who really knows? Because when his body was still intact, we didn't have the medical technology to be able to test to know that sort of thing for sure. And now, obviously, today it's not going to be 150 years later, 170 years later. It's not going to be intact enough to do any testing.
That kind of thing would happen around Virginia.
Yeah,
Of course.
They also one of the biggest theories around it is that it had something to do with a special election that was going on that day in Baltimore. The day that he was found, they think he was a victim of what's called cooping, where people used to kidnap and drug up people and force them to go in to the polls multiple times with different outfits on to vote multiple times for their candidate. So they think that might have been what happened to him, because they found him in clothing that didn't fit him as well. So they think that might have been it.
That's weird.
Anyway,
That's crazy. I never even heard of that before.
Yeah, I've actually been kind of intrigued by that for several years now. I've gone to Poe's grave a few times and went to a birthday celebration of his at it's like a church in the middle of the graveyard there in Baltimore. But
I didn't know that's where he was from.
I don't remember if he was born there off the top of my head. It's either there or Boston. He was born one of those two, but something
It's
like
all coming together. Baltimore, the Ravens.
Yep.
That poem he wrote.
Yeah.
He was, he was a person. There are humans in football. The Ravens again.
There you go. Human.
I live with this man.
As far as you know.
This type of nonsensical stuff is my life. I love it. No, I think that you can make a conspiracy out of anything.
Yeah.
Donuts, go. Make a conspiracy.
Where do they come from?
Donuts?
Yeah.
I don't know, the Simpsons.
Is it just a coincidence that donuts are shaped like flying saucers?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
What kind of flying saucers have you seen?
The ones with the
holes in the middle? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, that's absolutely what they look like. I know, because I've seen them.
Oh.
What? Someone in the chat said he didn't die, his mind just became his poems?
Uh-oh.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds dark, friend.
Yeah. Glitchy Fox says he got crabs, which in
Probably.
Baltimore or Boston is not that uncommon of a thing.
Wait, to get actual crabs?
Yes.
Isn't that an STI?
That too. That's what they were saying, but I decided to make it about the local seafood industry instead.
Oh, okay. Here I'm thinking that the STI just runs rampant in those two places.
Well, it could. In fact, Ronnie told me it does. Secretly.
That's true. I did tell him. I called him up earlier. Let him know.
Ronnie, you and your freaking conspiracies, I swear to
I
God.
want to give him a heads up.
What, in case he wants to go to another one of those celebrations?
Yeah. We're
Right.
all right, but beware. Crabs and such.
I know someone who had crabs once.
Gross.
With
I
butter.
didn't want to be told about it, but... Oh, yeah, with butter.
I've never had seafood. Well, I did have lobster once and I didn't like it.
We went and got sushi one time.
Yeah, but
That's seafood, friend.
I know. Yeah, but I only like the only seafood I like is tuna. And that I don't like crustaceans, like crabs, lobsters, oysters, all that weird stuff. People.
Wow,
eat.
that's
find,
fish racist.
I just find it too chewy.
Just finding two hate crimes happening over here towards fish.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of similar. I'm not a huge seafood fan, but I do like sushi a lot, and I do like shrimp. So I only like very specific races of fish. I'm also a fish racist.
I don't even have a response anymore. I don't even have something to say back to that.
Strangely, the only pizza that I'm racist toward is pizza with anchovies, which would be fish.
Oh, I tried anchovy. All these years, I saw the meme, the anchovy joke about people getting disgusting pizza, and I wanted to try it, and it was one of the most horrific things I've ever experienced in my mouth. Just straight up. And I've had root canals. I've gotten my wisdom teeth out. I've ripped my own baby teeth out when they were loose by putting a string on it and the door slamming thing.
Wow.
And all of it pales in comparison to how horrific it was to have that anchovy pizza.
I have never tried anchovies just because they smelled terrible when I got close to them. And I figured the taste can't be better than the smell.
I don't know. I mean, I love blue cheese, and it stinks really bad. So I was like, wow, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
And the worst, it was horrible.
Did you guys have any other stuff you wanted to read, or are we all read out?
I'm all read out for now.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything else to read, but we'll listen to your sultry voice all day.
I don't know about that.
All right, you can interview me, Ronnie.
All right, so tell me about yourself.
Please stop making that face at me.
I don't even
choose another one. Choose a different one.
That's just my face. I'm really bad at asking questions.
I can tell.
Where'd you get your name from?
RomNex?
Yeah.
It was my name in a video game called Dust 514. And I just have recycled it.
Who made that game?
Who made you, Ronnie?
What?
Your questions are horrible.
Rude. Fine.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
Why does your hair look like that?
75.
Why are you so fucking dumb?
Mean.
I know. No, all right. I got a real question for you.
Yeah, today, Grandpa.
Nah, I didn't actually. I thought one would pop into my head after I said that, and then...
Okay.
Nah, you ask me something now.
Now let's ask the audience something. Glitchy Fox, when did you start narrating?
Glitchy Fox, how are you dealing with all of your new fame?
Glitchy Fox, why am I yellow?
That sounds kind of racist.
What? It's called jaundice. Wow.
Wow, being racist towards jaundice people now, eh?
You know what jaundice is?
It's a horrible disease, apparently.
It's not a disease.
I thought that was like a kidney disease. Like something happens and then it makes your skin yellow.
Yeah, but it's not a disease. Well,
I thought that was a disease.
It's like a condition. You can probably get it if you have some sort of a disease in your kidneys or liver or something. I don't know. It's when pee gets into your skin.
What?
Pea skin? Oh.
I don't think that's what that is.
I'm pretty sure it is. Let's Google it.
All right.
Jaundice.
All right. Condition in which the skin, whites of the eyes, and mucous membranes turn yellow because of high level of bilirubin, a yellow-orange bile pigment. Jaundice has many cases, including hepatitis, gallstones, and tumors.
Let's look what this bilirubin is.
Well, it ain't pee, friend.
Bilirubin, chemical compound. Let's see. The pathways break down. The microphone's right in front of this, so I can't really read this. Red blood cells.
All right, listen, you were wrong. Okay.
No, I'm gonna Google. Is there a substance made during the body's normal process taking down? That was found in bile. Yeah, okay, that's right.
Okay, listen.
So it is in urine.
If you think that having bile in your urine is normal, then I need to take you to the hospital.
It says it right here. It can leak into your liver.
It says it can leak into the blood and urine, but it isn't like by default in your urine.
I never said it was.
I'm gonna stop talking to you now.
I thought it was urine in your skin. I thought that was what we were dealing with.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but mine was a very, very, basic description of it, but more or less it is that.
Okay.
The problem with that, ask your congressman why is going out at night and injecting people with urine.
I'm writing the letter as we speak.
Yeah, don't come crawling to me when your skin's green or something.
Michael, after you left, it did not go well.
All right, it went very well.
What happened?
We discovered who created jaundice.
No. No, that's okay.
Yeah, where did you live? Michigan, Illinois?
I'm gonna let Ronnie live out this.
Governor of Michigan.
Are you trying to?
It's Gretchen Whitmer. Ask her why she's going around injecting people with urine. That's the real question. Where's her email? I'm gonna email her right now.
Please. Oh my
You
God.
should.
I know you will too. No, actually, you right now email that lady.
You want me to? All right, Here we go. All right, here we go. What was the name? Greg something?
This is happening, Michael.
I have no connection to this random letter going out at all. So maybe she won't have to go.
All right, I don't have her email on here, but I do have her actual mailing address. Do we have any envelopes?
Yeah.
Do we really?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why do we have envelopes? Are we 70 years old?
Make sure you print it on proper parchment paper before sending it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you being racist towards old people?
Well, I know we don't have any stamps.
What do you mean
so
by that? I'll make a stamp. I'll cut out a piece of paper.
I think that's illegal.
What?
Make your own stamps. The stamps is a form of currency. I don't think you can make your own stamps.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the stamps are a form of currency.
Guess I'm going to jail.
If they complain about it, just say you have jaundice so you don't know any better.
I was a mailman for some time, so I think I know how
Were you now?
stamps are a form of currency. Yeah.
Tell them their funny mailman story.
Which one? When I got bit by the dog?
Well, that's kind of funny, but no, I mean, like the one where the grown man was crying in front of you.
Oh, well, that's not really funny anymore.
Well, it was funny when you told it to me because of the way you told it.
Yeah, so I was delivering mail, and there was this guy who was like singing and crying, and he was singing that "Pour Some Sugar on Me"
No,
song.
he didn't know the funny part of the story is that Ronnie did not know this man was crying. He just thought this man was jovially singing "Pour Some Sugar on Me."
Yeah, well, yeah, but then I went over to him because I heard him because I was walking down the street delivering mail. Then I went over to him and he was crying, and I was like, "Oh, how are you today?" And he was like, "Oh, my dog died." And then I guess like he was like that song reminded him of his dog or something. I don't know. It was really weird.
All right, listen, the way you're telling this story, you're making it sound really dumb and not funny. But when you told it to me, I was laughing my ass off. So there's been some kind of disconnect.
Well, there's a video on my channel where I tell the story.
Yeah, and in the video, it's funny, but right now it's somehow not. So I'm not sure where the disconnection has happened here.
No, I have really bad memory. I don't even remember this happening. I don't remember what you're talking about. It's never happened. You're crazy.
Gaslighting has begun.
No.
I think Michael needs to step in and...
Okay. All right.
We're spiraling, Michael.
I'll tell you what.
We're smiling? Huh?
Smiling. That's good.
Yes, go on, Michael. You were saying?
Yeah, I'm afraid this... Well, here's one I wanted to read. I'm afraid it might take like 10 minutes to read, but maybe if I read it really fast, it won't. Have you ever read anything from Neil Gaiman?
Have I? No.
You're his ghostwriter.
I know.
Legitimately, I think that I have, but I cannot remember what it was. It's not Gaiman?
It could be Gaiman. I don't know. I don't know how he pronounces it. I just read it.
I thought it was pronounced Gaiman, but I've actually never heard his name said until now. And then I was like, wow, Gaiman.
Yeah, I've never heard it said. I just pronounced it the way I thought it looked. And as a matter of fact,
have you read?
I haven't read any like novels or anything. It's just short stories. And this is one of those short stories. It is called, I don't know if you ever put it in a book either. It's from like 10 years ago. It looks like it was like released for Halloween or something as an audiobook, but I was able to find the actual text. So it is called Click, Clack, the Rattlebag. There are only two characters in it. One is a little boy and the other one is like some sort of person. Maybe it's Neil or maybe it's a younger version of himself. But
Neil Breen?
Yes, it's Neil Breen, and he's talking about his many incredible films in this.
If you want me to play the other character, let me know. I don't have the lines, so I'll just make up some stuff. But yeah.
I don't know how that would work, but let's see.
How young is the little boy? How's your little boy voice? Is it like a 6-year-old?
Probably like a 9 or 10-year-old, I'm guessing. And
gonna be coming in like with how's your 9-year-old voice?
All right, Crockemite. It's
all right. You know what? I didn't ask for your Australian impression. I was talking to Michael, Ronnie.
Okay.
Well, my voice isn't going to sound anything like that. Let's see. If you have a quick way for me to copy and paste this over to you, we could do that.
Sure. Email it to Ronnie.
Or you can also fax it to me.
Oh, hold on. Let me get out my fax machine.
What's you have to wait for me to go buy one.
While we're waiting on that, I have a question, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Has anyone, since you're like, we both have public emails where people can send in story submissions. Mm-hmm. Has anyone ever like sent you nudes or something, or like
no, unfortunately not yet.
Something weird because it's just out there for anyone.
No, unfortunately, no. But I'm hoping.
No, I'm doing that right now. Does that count?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
No one's ever sent me anything like that.
I'm actually surprised. I've gotten more weird people in my DMs on Instagram since I became a YouTuber than people going up in my public email, which surprises me.
Huh. I only had one weird person message me on social media, and that was you.
Me? Yeah, I knew it. I'm
just joking.
Yeah, me and Ronnie met online, and yeah.
Yeah. Was that a horror story too? Was it like they had to meet him in a dark parking lot at 3 a.m.?
It might as well have been because I messaged him on my dorky little ass messaged him on his Facebook page, right? Oh, and then I deleted it because I was like, wow, that's real.
You deleted your Facebook page?
No, I deleted him. I like messaged him and got so upset that I did that I deleted my whole entire self off the internet. I thought that when you delete messages, because you can delete messages in Messenger, and I thought it would delete it for both parties like it does on Snapchat and stuff. And it did not. And so he messaged back a few days later, and I was like, oh, God. And so it might as well have been a horror story. I also had food poisoning at the time, so that wasn't very fun. And then he also forgot to ever message me back again, and I had to reach out to him a second time on Instagram a few weeks later, so that sucked. I basically got ghosted for no good reason.
I have really bad memory, so I forgot she messaged me.
Why did you get so horrified at the message you originally sent? Was it overly flirty and you weren't sure how you'd react to it?
Oh, no, it was just me reaching out, like, friendly, but I thought it was really cringy because, in my eyes, obviously I started out as just a fan of Ronnie's, and I was like, this is just really dumb. What are you even doing? I thought it was really cringy. I don't know why. I guess if you can imagine if you sent a DM to, like, fucking Shaquille O'Neal or something, like, being trying to be all friendly, like, a few seconds later, wouldn't you feel kind of like, wow, that's really cringy and dumb. Wish I didn't do that. And then they see it and respond.
In a way, it's kind of a better feeling if they actually respond than if you see that they read it and they just ignore it.
Oh, yeah. Can you?
Because, like, if you just ignored it, you'd think, oh, God, that must have been even worse than I thought. He must hate me now.
Yeah. I actually have the message. It was...
You do. Can you read it?
We have... I was about to say, like, the very first exchange we ever had via social media was, like, the most awkward 80-year-old man sounding. Like, I sound like... If you didn't know it was me, it just sounds like I'm a creepy 80-year-old man. Honestly. Oh, yeah. Oh, there it is.
Get ready.
All right. So he was just really normal and said, I think I said something like, hey, how are you or something. I deleted it, like I said, but obviously he saw it. And then he said, hello, I'm good. And you? And I said, hello, I'm doing all right. Thanks. I can't complain. Note that I had horrible food poisoning at this time, so I was lying off my ass. I'm trying to find the exact message where I sound like an actual idiot.
Did you say something like, oh, kids today on the damn sidewalks? Is that what you said? I can't remember.
What's wrong with you?
Get off my lawn or something like that.
Yeah. You know what's weird? In this town, skateboarding on the sidewalks is illegal, which is weird. Skateboarding and biking on the sidewalk is illegal. Where the hell are you supposed to use those things? On the street? Like,
right.
Bikes I can kind of understand, but nobody's skateboarding on the street.
I know in some towns they will build like a skate park so that there's somewhere to skate, but I don't know about yours.
I don't think there is a skate park here. I think that they're just really racist towards people that like to skate. Racist towards skater boys.
There you go. Anti-skater racism.
Oh, God. I said, I'm excited to hear from you. I recently found your content, and I like it. And your stuff really make me laugh. So I reached out, and I hope that isn't too forward of me.
No, so sweet.
So you're in there. It sounds like you already feel like you're afraid he won't want to talk to you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was my favorite YouTuber at the time.
Now it's someone totally different, though.
Well,
now it's RomNex.
It's me. Now Ronnie's just someone that I scream at on the daily, and you've heard some of the shit he's been saying.
What?
What? This shit about the scarecrows earlier?
Oh, okay.
And then what do you mean, what?
What do I mean, what?
Sitting over here accusing people of injecting people with piss and stuff?
I didn't say that.
All right.
No, I'm making up accusations now. I don't appreciate that.
Okay.
Libel. You ever heard of that? Huh? You ever heard of a lawsuit?
Ever heard of slander?
Yeah.
I wish you would come at me with some shit like that. I would destroy you so quickly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is why it's different now.
All right, I see.
I cringe just thinking back to that time also just because of the sheer amount of pain and horrible sickness I was in, but that's what you get for eating coleslaw that's bad.
You're eating bad coleslaw? Where'd you get it, from the gas station?
Oh, it was really screwed up because I went to a place where one of my dear friends at the time worked. It's called Mr. J's. I'm not sure if that's just in Virginia, but it's like a bagel joint. And I was like, just coming to be nice and support them. because they just got the job. And I was like, hey, you want to make me something? I'll buy something. And they're like, okay. And so they hand made me this sandwich with love, right? And then the next day, I got food poisoning, and I had food poisoning for a week.
Oh.
So it feels bad.
So did they sue you for slander?
I wish they fucking would. I wish they'd try.
Their attorney is Ronnie.
Walk into the court.
The whole courtroom is filled with scarecrows.
No, I thought you were going to say they're all me.
They're all just you.
Yeah.
Everyone all the women in the court are just you with the wig.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't. I think I would win either way. You wouldn't win against me in court.
Yeah, food poisoning is the worst. I think I've had it like 4 times in my life, and each time it gets worse. Like last time, it seemed to last way longer than it had before that. And
like when you got it, were you like, could you eat anything or like?
Well, no, because mainly it makes you nauseous. I don't know about you, but I can't really eat when I'm nauseous.
I've had people try to tell me they've had food poisoning before, and I was like, oh yeah, I have too. And they were like, yeah, I had an upset stomach for like 3 days. And I was like, no, if you had food poisoning, you don't eat for 3 days. Like you can't. So I was trying to gauge. I didn't think you were like that, but I do like when people say stuff like that to me. I think it's really funny. Like when people say, oh yeah, I think I've had a kidney stone. One time my lower back hurt really bad for like 2 days. And I was like, okay, listen, that's not what that is.
Yeah, it's not just nausea, but you're going to be throwing up most likely. And from what a doctor told me one time, probably the first or second time I had it, I went to see a doctor, and they said the only thing that you can do in the meantime is to take Pepto-Bismol to try and calm it down. And once your body gets to the point that it can deal with the Pepto-Bismol, then it'll actually start helping you. So at least that's the really scientific version of it.
Why you be getting food poisoning so much though, Michael? Like
me?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, why you have it so many times?
Fight?
I don't. Yes, I do want to fight about food poisoning. I don't know. I guess it's must be something
the governor did. Yeah. Something the governor did.
Yeah. You know them.
I'm over here like I feel like it's kind of hard to get food poisoning, to be honest. Or I feel like I would have had it way more times by now because I have a sensitive stomach, and you're over here like I've had food poisoning 4 times, dude.
How old were you when you first had it the first time?
This only happened like 3 years ago or something.
Okay, like I think the first time I had it, I was like, I don't know, 13 or 14 years old. So you got to start early is what I'm saying.
Just like with drugs.
Yeah. Start drugs early. Make sure you get a lot of them in.
I don't know if you've ever had a kidney stone, but I get those as well.
I have not. A friend of mine recently he was told he has gravel. I don't know if that's a lot of small kidney stones or what, but
he's got like gravel in his kidneys.
Something like that. I don't know if that was just him being funny instead of saying stone, or if they meant that he has a bunch of tiny ones. Yeah,
I was thinking about that because from what I said earlier, when people try to claim they have food poisoning, kidney stones or something because they've felt a slight discomfort at one time in their life.
Yeah.
It ain't like that.
Right. What happens when you get them? Is it surgically removed, or do you have to wait for it to go through on its own, or what?
Thankfully, I've not had a big enough one to require surgery. They have to be pretty big for surgery. And the biggest one I had was like 1 millimeter away from needing it. But I usually just have to writhe in pain for like 5 days, and then eventually I pee it out.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's especially fun when like it gets so bad you have to go to the ER, and then like, you know, they think that you're faking it. So they make you sit there for like 3 hours and don't treat you until they realize that you're not. Until
you're on the floor dying.
Yeah, apparently, you know, young women can't get kidney stones or something, according to, you know, stupid hypocrites that think I should just be dying. That I just want the drugs.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you get I sent the email with that story in it.
Oh.
Get on it, Ronnie.
You know what I was going to ask like way early on in the stream, but totally forgot. If you guys think the writer and or narration communities have changed at all during this whole lockdown thing, like if they're uploading more or writing more or less, or if you see any
I don't really pay attention to other channels.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've seen an increase in like, I think I've been seeing more narrations in my feed.
Yeah.
So I assume that there's been a slight increase. I think that a lot of channels, especially the ones where this isn't their job, they haven't had much of an increase because they've just been worrying about trying to get their life together.
Yeah.
Which is understandable since so many people have been laid off and stuff. But I've at least seen some increase. Namely, I've seen Nature's Temper posting a lot.
Who's that?
Nature's Temper. He's another narrator. I've seen him posting a lot at least.
Yeah, he would.
Okay.
Trying to start beef right now with NT.
I've actually, among the subscriptions I have, I've noticed a lot more narrators uploading faster. But then again, I don't know if it's just those ones or just because I'm paying attention more to see if there's any effect on it, or I couldn't really tell you. I haven't performed the necessary scientific studies to figure it out.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah, dividends and stuff.
Yeah. Like put them all in a room together and see who dies first and stuff.
Yeah,
exactly.
Split atoms. Like poison half of them, but leave the others alone to see which ones die first.
Yeah, put them all in a room.
Poison ones down.
What do you say? Poison their atoms? No, like what you gotta do is get them in a room and get them all start narrating, and whichever one narrates them, like the narratiest, doesn't die.
There you go.
Yeah, like whichever one puts narrating first gets sent to the guillotine, and then so like you make them all start reading, and then announce to them that the first one, like whoever's story finishes first, like the first 5 of them die.
Yeah,
they're all going to be.
That's actually an anime I watched one time.
Story narrators.
Narrating. Instead of narrating, it was like people clapping, but
nice.
That's same shit, different day.
I was going to say that should be a story for you to write and narrate about putting the narrators in the room and killing the first 5 to finish.
Just like a giant collaboration with every single narrator on YouTube.
And whichever ones you kill are going to be pretty mad at you. Yeah.
No, we'll give them really great, like dramatic, awesome death scenes, so it'll be fine. All right, Ronnie, you got the thing.
Wait, I'm reading it. I thought you were reading it.
What? No, you wanted him to send it to you because you were gonna be Neil Breen.
I don't even what
Neil Breen.
I mean, okay, I'll read it, but
do you not remember why you had him send it to you?
I asked if it was Neil Breen.
All right.
And then I said I could be the kid, but I don't know the lines, so I'll just make up stuff.
And then he sent it to you so that you could actually read it with him.
All right.
Are you on crack?
All right. I'll read it. All right. Which one's who?
That's the point I was going to make, that it's pretty hard to figure out unless you're reading the whole story. You'll know, but it's not like each line says the little boy said this, the man said this. I could start it out and then I'll just stop at the points where, I don't know if you want to follow along or whatever, but I'll stop at the points where it's supposed to be the boy speaking, and if you can hear where that's going to be, go ahead and jump in.
All right, I think the first line is the boy.
That's true. That is it. So, okay.
Good job, Ronnie.
Here we go. We're going to try to read Neil Gaiman, as Rom says, it's pronounced. Neil Gaiman's Click Clack the Rattle Bag. First line would be the little boy, and that's Ronnie's part.
Before you take me up to bed, will you tell me a story?
Do you actually need me to take you up to bed? I asked the boy. He thought for a moment. Then, with intense seriousness,
yes, actually, I think you do, because I finished my homework, and so it's my bedtime, and I'm a bit scared. Not very scared, just a bit. But it is a very, very big house, and lots of times the lights don't work, and it gets sort of dark.
I reached over and tousled Ronnie's hair. I can understand that, I said. It is a very big old house. He nodded. We were in the kitchen where it was light and warm. I put down my magazine on the kitchen table. What kind of story would you like me to tell you?
Well,
he said thoughtfully.
I don't think it should be too scary, because then when I go up to bed, I will just be thinking about monsters the whole time. But if it isn't just a little bit scary, then I won't be interested. And you make up scary stories, don't you? Wait.
That's right.
I know she says that's what you do.
She exaggerates. I write stories, yes. Nothing that's been published yet, though. And I write lots of different kinds of stories.
But you do write scary stories.
Yes. The boy looked up at me from the shadows by the door, where he was waiting.
Do you know any stories about Click-Clack the Rattlebag? Rattlebag?
I don't think so.
But those are the best sort of stories.
Do they tell them at your school? He shrugged.
Sometimes.
What's a Click-Clack the Rattlebag story? He was a precocious child and was unimpressed by his sister's boyfriend's ignorance. You could see it on his face.
Everybody knows them.
I don't, I said, trying not to smile. He looked at me as if he was trying to decide whether or not I was pulling his leg. He said,
I think maybe you should take me up to my bedroom, and then you can tell me a story before I go to sleep. But a very not scary story, because I'll be up in my bedroom then, and it's actually a bit dark up there too.
I said, shall I leave a note for your sister telling her where we are?
You can, but you'll hear when they get back. The front door is very slammy.
We walked out of the warm and cozy kitchen into the hallway of the big house, where it was chilly and drafty and dark. I flicked the light switch, but nothing happened.
The bulb's gone,
the boy said.
That always happens.
Our eyes adjusted to the shadows. The moon was full, and blue-white moonlight shone in through the high windows on the staircase down into the hall. We'll be all right, I said.
Yes,
said the boy, soberly.
I'm very glad you're here.
He seemed less precocious now. His hand found mine, and he held on to my fingers comfortably, trustingly, as if he'd known me all his life. I felt responsible and adult. I did not know if the feeling I had for his sister, who was my girlfriend, was love. Not yet, but I think that the child treated me as one of the family. I felt like his big brother, and I stood taller. And if there was something unsettling about the empty house, I would not have admitted it for worlds. The stairs creaked beneath the threadbare stair carpet.
Click-Clacks,
said the boy,
are the best monsters ever.
Are they from television?
I don't think so. I don't think any people know where they come from. They mostly come from the dark.
Good place for a monster to come from.
Yes.
We walked along the upper corridor in the shadows, walking from patch of moonlight to patch of moonlight. It really was a big house. I wished I had a flashlight.
They come from the dark,
said the boy, holding on to my hand.
I think probably they're made of dark, and they come in when you don't pay attention. That's when they come in, and then they take you back to their, not nest. What's a word that's like nest, but not?
House?
No, it's not a house.
Lair? He was silent. Then...
I think that's the word. Yes, lair.
He squeezed my hand. He stopped talking. Right. So they take the people who don't pay attention back to their lair. And what do they do then, your monsters? Do they suck all the blood out of you like vampires? He snorted.
Vampires don't suck all the blood out of you. They only drink a little bit, just to keep them going and, flying around. Click-Clacks are much scarier than vampires.
I'm not scared of vampires, I told him.
Me neither. I'm not scared of vampires either. Do you want to know what Click-Clacks do? They drink you,
said the boy. Like a Coke?
Coke is very bad for you,
said the boy.
If you put a tooth in Coke in the morning, it will be dissolved into nothing. That's how bad Coke is for you, and why you must always clean your teeth every night.
I've heard the Coke story as a boy, and had been told as an adult that it wasn't true, but was certain that a lie which promoted dental hygiene was a good lie, and I let it pass.
Click-Clacks drink you,
said the boy.
First they bite you, and then you go all ishy inside, and all your meat and all your brains and everything except for your bones and your skin turns into a wet, milk-shaky stuff, and then the Click-Clacks suck it out through the holes where your eyes used to be.
That's disgusting, I told him. Did you make it up? We'd reached the last flight of stairs, and the way into the big house.
No.
I can't believe you kids make up stuff like that.
You didn't ask me about the rattlebag,
he said. Right. What's the rattlebag?
Well,
he said sagely, soberly, a small voice from the darkness beside me.
Once you're just bones and skin, they hang you up on a hook, and you rattle like the wind.
So what do these click-clacks look like? Even as I asked him, I wished I could take the question back and leave it unasked. I thought, huge spidery creatures, like the one in the shower that morning. I'm afraid of spiders. I was relieved when the boy said,
They look like what you aren't expecting, what you aren't paying attention to.
We were climbing wooden steps now. I held onto the railing on my left, held his hand with my right as he walked beside me. It smelled like dust and old wood, that high in the house. The boy's tread was certain, though, even though the moonlight was scarce.
Do you know what story you're going to tell me to put me to bed?
He asked.
It doesn't actually have to be scary.
Not really.
Maybe you could tell me one about this evening and tell me what you did.
That won't make much of a story for you. My girlfriend just moved into a new place on the edge of town. She inherited it from an aunt or someone. It's very big and very old. I'm going to spend my first night with her tonight, so I've been waiting for an hour or so for her and her housemates to come back with the wine and an Indian takeaway.
See?
Said the boy. There was that precocious amusement again. But all kids can be insufferable sometimes when they think they know something you don't. It's probably good for them.
You know all that, but you don't think. You just let your brain fill in the gaps.
He pushed open the door to the attic room. It was perfectly dark now, but the opening door disturbed the air, and I heard things rattle gently, like dry bones in thin bags in the slight wind. Click, clack, click, clack, like that. I would have pulled away then, if I could, but small, firm fingers pulled me forward, unrelentingly, into the dark. Were you just burping into the microphone over there? What was that?
What was what?
I heard some...
Our chairs are
Yeah, that's probably
creaky.
just the chair.
Both of our chairs are creaky.
Okay. That was the click-clacks, I think.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like that story.
My first experience with it was hearing him do a live read of it, which you can find on YouTube. I just slammed something into my microphone. But yeah, there's a live read that he does of it on YouTube, which is good. You could check that out if you were so inclined. But yeah, I really like that one. And
I thought that was a good story.
Yeah. If anybody listening didn't catch what happened at the end, the little boy was the click-clack who was pulling him upstairs.
You're a click-clack, Ronnie.
Yeah, Ronnie the click-clack. That's your YouTube name now.
I kept thinking about the story Click Clack Moo, Cows That Type. It's like a old story I had when I was a little kid. It was hard to not think of that, but that story was actually was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of Click Clack Moo.
Yeah, Click Clack Moo, Cows That Type. It's a great. It's a Caldecott winner. Got the Caldecott medal. You know, those things they hand out to every story ever in elementary school.
I see.
Yeah.
Very nice. I'll have to look that up and pretend I'm 10 years old and read it then.
I think you should do a narration of it, in fact.
Oh, Click Clack Moo. Yeah, what's the whole title again?
Click Clack Moo, Cows That Type. Yeah, it's about like these cows that find a typewriter, and so they start typing up demands for the farmer because they're unhappy with their living conditions.
That's great.
So they start like saying, if you don't give us this stuff, we're gonna go on strike, and we won't produce milk, and we won't like do anything for you.
Yeah.
And, so they go on strike, and then they get all this random shit from the farmer because they're making all these crazy demands.
Right.
That
sounds
funny.
Incredible.
It is.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely gonna look that up after this and do my best to try and turn it into a major production afterward.
Please. That would make me so happy.
I think I'm all out of stuff to do for tonight. So unless you guys have some great ideas, maybe we should call it a night.
No, I don't think I have anything.
Yeah, I think that was pretty good for tonight.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we provided some entertainment for people. And it wasn't too disappointing listening to the ghetto Edgar Allan Poe stories or anything.
I thought it was fun.
The gazoo.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So if anybody's listening who is not already following RomNex and the Dark Somnium, you can find those links in the description of the video. And also, if you're not subscribed to this channel, and you'll hear more of these live streams. And I'm sure they'll be back as guests in the future. I'm going to say goodnight to everybody.
Good night, everybody.
And make Ronnie say goodnight too.
Good night. All right. It was very fun. We'll have to do it again sometime.
See ya.